Thank you everyone for joining us today. This is a really kind of new thing for me and my wife, Brooke. We've been residents of Altadena for about 7 years now. We lived right off the corner of Lake and Mariposa pretty much our whole time there. And we, uh, as you might imagine, lost our homes, as so many of you have here. And we just want to respect everybody's time. We want to respect everybody's energy, and we want to also respect what everybody's lost. So we want to open this meeting with a short moment of silence to respect our neighbors that didn't make it out and everybody who's lost so much in this last week. With that, like I said, my name's Mike, and bear with us and be patient with us as we navigate this. And we're so thankful to our friends. Scout is here with us. We also have a couple other people who we've met over the last week, and we're just so thankful for all your support and encouragement and helping us pull this together. So I kind of had a couple housekeeping rules I've already stated. I'm just going to state it one more time. Let's stay muted for right now as much as possible. Kind of want to get through this. Please use the chat to send any questions or comments. We do have moderation. Both Brooke and Scout will be going over those. Any questions that we're not able to answer live, we're not able to talk about here in person, we will get back to you via email or any contact that we have. We should have your guys' email address. That's how you got invited. If you don't, if a friend shared this link with you and you have not given us your email address, so we have no way of contacting you, we will be giving out a form at the end of this that has volunteer opportunities, that will have a template to contact local leaders and state what we want to see happen with Altadena, to kind of put your name on a unified voice. So please look out for that form, send it to us, and we'll be able to contact you after that. As far as in the chat, let's try and keep it to Altadena concerns, rebuild concerns, and what we're talking about today. It'll be really difficult for Brooke and Scout to moderate if there's a lot of off-topic chatter. So just a couple of house rules there. Okay, so I want to talk about, start off with what we're doing here and what we're trying to do here. And I think sometimes when we talk about efforts, movements, political activity of any kind, it's maybe a good idea to start with what we're not doing. And so just really quickly, I want to make it clear, whatever is said about rebuilding Altadena, we are not here to make it harder for individual homeowners to rebuild. That is the exact opposite of what we're looking for. We are not trying to force anybody who wants to leave Altadena to stay in Altadena. That is completely opposite of what we're looking for right here. What we are trying to do is we're trying to share with local leadership what we, as the community at large in Altadena, want to see happen in the process of rebuilding. We want to preserve the history, diversity, and charm of our specified voice as much as is possible. That does mean that we are open to collaborating and working with and getting as close as we can to other movements that are already more well established. This includes the San Gabriel Progressive Alliance. This includes Altadena Strong. This includes a lot of other non-based organizations that are looking for the history of Altadena. So we're not trying to set ourselves apart in any way. We're just trying to find a forum for all of us to come together and say what we want to see happen as a unified voice. So today, just in this meeting alone, I want to talk about what we're trying to accomplish. So first off, I want to recognize that everybody has a lot of different things to say about a lot of different topics. And this can be from the rebuild, this can be to financial situations, this could be to when can we get into your homes, this can be to all that stuff. And before we get there, the two things I want to make clear is that we're not experts, we are not the fire department, we are not local leaders, we are community-based organizers, we are individuals who lost their homes just like you. We don't have answers, We don't know when the water is going to be drinkable again. We don't know when the rebuild will start. We don't know any of that stuff. What we do know is that if, as a community, we're gonna save Altadena, if we're going to do that, we have to be unified around a shared set of common values and goals. And so the point of this meeting today is to share with you some of those things that we've drafted and had some other close friends and other community members review and pull together as a sort of starting point, and then send that all to you to get your comments and concerns and edits and inputs about what you'd like to see in this set shared of common values that we all have. And then we're going to use those values to inform our action moving forward. That will be through formal petition. That will be through direct contact with local leaders. We'll have a template in the form, like I said, for you all to use, but you can write your own, to send to county supervisor, to send to the governor's office, to send to state senators, to send to town council. We have that prepared for you, but you can do your own. This is just a way for us all to unify and make sure that we're all on the same page, which is what we want. And that the leadership knows that the community insists and demands that they listen to us as we rebuild, and not just zoom past us and do things and without consideration for what Altadena is and the people who live there. We will have future conversations about both broader and more specific topics in the future. This will not be the end. This is the beginning of this process. So we gotta be patient. We gotta move as best we can. So as we move forward, we are going to need to decide how best to unify ourselves and how to organize ourselves. So thank you so much for seeing in the comments here some suggestions of other groups. That's exactly what we're looking for. People who have experience, people who know, people who are a little bit more kind of already have gears rolling. We're not trying to take any steam out from their engines. So we want to collaborate and we want to move together forward on this. Yeah. So there we have that.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys can hear me. I've got mine to, Hi, I'm Brooke. I've been doing a lot of the posting online, so I'm really glad to see all of you guys here. I'm gonna go ahead in the chat, put in a PDF of the draft petition that we've come up with, so everyone can kind of read along. Maybe I'll do a screen share. I'm not sure. I also don't really want guys our Zoom meeting in any way as far as crashing. So I'm going to put that in the chat right now. As Michael mentioned, there will be a Google form, the meeting, where it will have the petition draft in that as well, so you can review it some more, and you can send us any comments or things that you need to, or you want to see added or reworded or taken away. I do want to emphasize that in the interest of time, I'd like to get this petition official as soon as possible. So trying to be, I guess, mindful of what comments you have. Basically, let's not be too nitpicky because we want to get something going ASAP. So we've tried to be as specific and pointed as possible. I've got it there in the chat, so we can begin reviewing it together right now. We'll go through it. Sorry,
so, no worries,
I'm rambling.
No worries. We'll move through that. So I'm going to try and share my screen right now. You allow me to do that?
Yeah.
All right, so is everybody able to see this document? I hope so. We can get a couple of yeahs. I know people are on their phones, so I apologize. I will be reading this out loud so you can hear what this is and what we're doing, but I just want to make sure that
we're getting confirmations.
Great, excellent. I'm gonna move this window out of the way. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, so this is just a very, very rough draft petition. This first paragraph we can kind of not worry too much about because we will finalize this in a bit. But this is to preserve the character of our town, Altadena, California, and protect its residents. We, the undersigned residents of Altadena, California are united in our commitment to rebuilding our community after the devastating impact of the Eaton fire. We hereby petition for direct community control over the rebuilding of our beloved community. We assert our right to guide Altadena's resurrection in alignment with our historical values, cultural heritage, and community vision. While we are determined to recover and restore what has been lost, we also recognize the importance of preserving the unique character and integrity of our town for current and future generations. That great opening, obviously edits are welcome, but this is the part, the meat that I really wanted to get into, which is our vision. We envision rebuilding Altadena as a self-determined, sustainable community that preserves and restores our town's rich architectural heritage and historical character, maintains our diverse middle-class character through thoughtful development, promotes local ownership and community-based decision-making, protects against displacement and gentrification, champions environmental sustainability and resilience. In light of these concerns and informed by our value, we petition our local government to take action on the following. 1, community oversight over development decisions. Require public hearings and community input for any proposed development project. Establishment of a community rebuilding council composed primarily of long-term Altadena residents. Veto power over large-scale development projects. Direct community input on all zoning and planning decisions, and that the council ensures transparency and accountability in the decision-making process regarding land use and urban planning. Again, these are drafts. I just want to step out of character for half a second here and remind everyone, we welcome any edits and concerns about the wording here, and we will take them all seriously. But as Brooke said, let's try and be very discerning about what we ask for, because we may have asked for the same thing just in different words. And so let's not try and be nitpicky about the word, try and be as true and clear about the spirit of what we want to see happen. Moving on to number 2, protection for local landowners. Enact policies to prevent aggressive tactics by developers to pressure homeowners to sell their properties during this vulnerable time. Impose an immediate moratorium on the use of eminent domain for a minimum of 24 months to protect homeowners during the rebuild process and ensure community-driven recovery efforts. Provide legal and financial resources for homeowners to help them navigate potential offers or disputes. Secure funding for grants, loans, and other assistance to affected residents. Ensure the protection of our historic Black community and their property to preserve our town's cultural and historical fabric. And then finally in this section, maintenance of Altadena's unique residential character through protection of historic sites and landmarks, support for local arts and cultural programs, preservation of community gathering spaces, enhancement of educational facilities and programs, maintenance of Altadena's diverse cultural heritage. All of these that I just stated, I want to reiterate what I said at the beginning. These are not intended to make it harder to rebuild or to keep people who don't want to stay in Altadena from leaving. They are intended to urge local leadership, county leadership, and state leadership to provide the resources necessary so that the residents who are in Altadena stay in Altadena, and that the generational wealth of a lot of these families stays in those families and isn't somehow ferreted away to some loan program that the federal government offers with obscene interest rates or something like that. All of these are intended to keep the property of Altadena in the hands of Altadeans. Moving on to number 3. Restriction of large-scale development, private equity acquisition, and big corporate ownership. Establish zoning and land use regulations that explicitly prohibit large-scale development by private equity firms or other entities focused solely on profit rather than community welfare. Enforce restrictions that prevent single entities' acquisition of multiple properties to avoid monopolization and displacement of residents. Prioritize rebuilding efforts that support sustainable, community-driven growth and align with the town's historical and cultural values. Preservation of historic architectural styles and landmarks. Restriction on chain establishments and corporate development. Priority for local businesses and entrepreneurs in commercial development, which there will be a lot of, as we know a lot of space will be destroyed. And development of local apprenticeship programs in an effort to support local businesses. 4, building and return efforts for local residents. A guaranteed right of return for displaced residents. This should include additional support for seniors and supported living communities, halfway homes and permanent supportive housing communities, and additional support for displaced BIPOC communities. We want priority given to local contractors and workers in the rebuilding process. Requirements for affordable housing in all new multi-unit developments. Prevention of displacement through rent controls and other protective measures. A moratorium on eviction and mortgage collection until the rebuild is complete. Aggressive rent control for all new multi-unit and multifamily developments. These are aimed at multi-unit and multifamily. I want to make that clear. None of this is meant to prevent single-family homes or owners of those homes from being able to return. We want to provide incentives for homeowners to rebuild and remain in the community and support small business recovery and development. And this last one, I want to emphasize that this is supposed to be above and beyond FEMA's small business loans that are offering up to $2 million at 4% interest to small businesses. In my opinion, that's predatory. And we need to focus on providing funds to help small businesses rebuild without having them have to shoulder the burden of a natural disaster that they did not cause. 5, and this is our final shared value that we've drafted: modernize and safeguard power infrastructure. Implementation of community-controlled renewable energy systems. Require the installation of underground power lines to reduce wildfire risks and improve community safety. Remove all existing above-ground power lines and poles to ensure a safer and more resilient power grid. Integration of fire-resistant and sustainable building practices. Preservation and enhancement of green spaces. And protection of local wildlife corridors, including Eaton Canyon. So those are the shared values that I really wanted to share with everybody today. We do have some steps for moving forward. We call for the immediate formation of the Community Rebuilding Council, moratorium on large-scale development until community guidelines are established, creation of a community-led master plan for rebuilding. We do not want the state or the county coming in and master planning our community. Establishment of local oversight committees for each major aspect of rebuilding: commercial, private, residential, and so forth. Regular community meetings and transparent decision-making process. And then we have some official language down here at the bottom. So you will all be receiving a version of this as a PDF or a JPEG. We welcome all edits, all comments. We will go through them as carefully as we can. As we said, we're trying to get this process to move as quickly as possible. We have already heard talks from LA County Public Works about master planning our community. We've already heard stories of people having offers and people trying to get their land at a discount. We've already heard that disaster capitalism is on its way and it's working right now as we speak. We need to organize now. The protest for Altadena Strong is an amazing way to do that, as well as checking out the resources from San Gabriel Valley Progressive Alliance. These are great groups that we should be taking cues from. But that being said, we as the members of this group and as the residents specifically of Altadena need to agree on these shared values so we can put them forward to our town council and to the county. And we can discuss moving further along down the road in meetings what sort of political organization we need to take and what future we see for Altadena. It can take a lot of shapes. A lot of what makes Altadena great is the fact that it was unincorporated, and that gave a lot of ability to the Black community to buy homes here and avoid redlining. Maybe we need to think about changing that political orientation of ourselves to an actual city. Maybe we don't. We don't know. These are questions we all have, but what we do know is that we can't have Altadena bulldozed and rebuilt in a way that does not reflect our community and does not make space for our history and pushes families out uh, into what is, for all intents and purposes, an incredibly cruel LA housing market at the moment.
I don't see that. You know, I want to preface this with because I've had a lot of people ask me, "Oh, is this only for homeowners and everything?" I don't know what it means for who. I'm hoping that this is for everyone. My husband and I were renters, so we don't have a financial stake necessarily in Altadena, but we never saw ourselves living anywhere else. And so, if you're a renter, I want to let you know that we're right there with you, and we very much care about this community, and we want to get back in there just as you do. And so, you know, I want this to be for all of us and everyone, even if you don't have a financial stake in this beautiful land.
Um, okay, so was there any specific, Scout Brooke, were there any specific comments that we would like to have addressed at this time?
Um, I was
There's
miming
so
people. I'm sorry. It's been kind of hard. There's been a lot of really great to say that if you know of any groups or people that are doing similar things, we need to get all, and we've been talking about, you know, unifying. We need to, so if you can email me their contact information, if you've anybody talking about any sort of, like, I know Melissa, she's, I want to have her just chime in real quick just to give some information about the protest that's happening. She mentioned that there's some media. So basically, if you have heard of any groups or people chatting about what we're talking about, we need to unify. Send them my way, and I'll try to get everybody connected. And yeah, sorry, my my
no,
one brain cell keeps misfiring.
no worries. So Melissa, would you mind sharing right now?
Sure, really quick, I just want to let everybody know there's going to be a protest demonstration right at where the media enters. Pasadena Star has already said they're coming, LA Times is coming, and who knows who else is coming. But it's right there at the entrance where the media is let in at Lake and Woodbury today at 2 o'clock. We have posters. This is for Altadena Not for Sale group that we're doing. And then we're going to we're going to be there. We're going to meet between Lake and Catalina at 2. Please be on time. We're going to gather, hand out posters, and then walk half a block over to Lake and Woodbury, be there for a while. And then the media wants photo shoots, they want to see a lot of people. And then we'll get into cars. So please carpool. And then we'll drive over to another community area. So we were thinking Fair Oaks and Woodbury, or I think 3 might be too many, but then we can just go to Fair Oaks and Lincoln, do the same right there, and that'll be from 2 to 4 p.m. today. And I hear there's a vigil for another group later, so it fits in with the time. Did that cover everything? Oh, and we're raising money for lawn signs. So right now we have poster signs that you could put in your cars. You can be creative and put them on your property, but next week we should have lawn signs. So we're raising money for lawn signs that you could put up.
Thank you so much for that. And yeah, I encourage everybody who's in the area right now, if you are close to Pasadena, Altadena, in the San Gabriel Valley still, and you can make it, please make it out, because we need to be visible. We need to be making noise. So thank you so much, Melissa, for that.
I think next I'd love to introduce Freddie. I have had the great pleasure of speaking with him and his team. Freddie's also from Altadena, long history of him and his family being in our beautiful community, and he is working tirelessly. And I think that Abraham shared a flyer in the chat. I can reshare it as well. Freddie, would you like to take some minutes here talking about the thing we've got coming up later this week?
Absolutely, and thank you, Brooke and Michael, for setting this up. I want to express all my condolences to everyone on this chat room who's suffering, has gone through a lot of pain. Briefly about me, I am a 51-year resident of Altadena. All of my family lives in Altadena. My law firm is in Altadena. By trade, I am a civil rights and criminal justice attorney, and I also produce events throughout Altadena. We lost about 7 properties, all our family's homes, all of our family businesses, and I expected to die in Altadena, like my grandfather died in Altadena, where I expected my parents to die in Altadena, and where I expect my kids to die in Altadena. So this, for me, is very deeply passionate. Based upon the relationships that I have and my ability to congregate media relationships and venue and things of that nature, um, in 24 hours, we're able to activate. I've secured for January 23rd at 6 p.m. the largest church, the First Methodist Church, 500 East Colorado Boulevard at 6 p.m. It has a physical capacity of 1,400, and we're going to live stream. We launched a website with an intake on it that people can register for. Everything that Brooke and Michael, which I believe you all have, is the identical thought process that we have. I agree that all of our groups need together. Now, unlike Brooke and Michael and some of you, I believe in a little more aggressive approach. Yesterday, we met with Newsom's team, and they're on board. We spoke to the mayor of Pasadena; he's on board. We spoke to Judy Chu's office. So this is a work in progress over the next few days. It was first getting a venue and a time, which we secured last night. Um, our, at least my belief is the power is going to be in our numbers and our unification. I believe in the end, laws are great as an attorney. Protests are fantastic, but I believe a full court blitz because if we don't keep banging and making noise and letting us be heard, these Olympics are going to come around, the Super Bowl is going to come around, and no one's going to care about us. I believe that if we create essentially a union where we negotiate as a unit, we can buy rebar. Does anybody care where I get the rebar from? But if I buy 1,000,000 pounds of rebar, our negotiations are different. We buy 1,000,000 gallons of paint, and we make Dunn Edwards and Sherwin-Williams negotiate with us to $7 a gallon. If we negotiate attorney's fees, I received a retainer. They want a 10%, 40%. I believe if we negotiate 5,000 retainers, we could get it down to 2, 3%. So I believe in a more aggressive approach. If we unify and we buy together, we negotiate together, we move together, we both with our voting power, with our spending power, can build those homes because based upon what I'm seeing in people's insurance, is they're only going to build what they can afford to build. And if they're spending 20, 30% more than what they should, I think Altadena is not going to be what we are hoping it to be. So I am inviting everyone out. Once this intake form is uploaded, it's going to go, and I need everybody there. I don't have all the answers. The answers are going to come from you. There is no commission, there is no authority, nothing. This is a community-based driven. It's only for Altadena, and I'm going to want everyone's input, everyone's skill set. If you have any skill set, you join this thing. It's not for profit. It's solely for all of us to help all of us because Altadena belongs to us. Before someone left here, they only left in a casket. This isn't a town where people build and go up. This is a town. My elementary school is gone. My kids' schools are gone. It's a wipeout, and so it's going to be Thursday. I need everybody to be there. If we show up in person, we're going to have a huge media blitz. There's a flyer that we just posted, and anyone wants to reach out to me, please do. We need your help getting this thing together, and we're going to need everyone's help continuing all the way through. And thank you, Brooke and Michael, for giving me an opportunity to speak here.
Thank you so much, Freddie, and for taking our all of ours vision and hopes for the future and kind of putting it into a more aggressive and legal framework. And that is something that me and Brooke don't specialize in. And all these different groups that we're talking about, these different meetings, they each have their own strengths. And so that's why I think we all need to be working together on this. Okay, so to wrap up today, I just want to talk about this Google form, this other one. I know you guys have a lot of people sending you Google Forms, a lot of people sending you contact requests, a lot of people sending you resources, and it's super overwhelming. And I don't necessarily just want to be a next person on that list, but since you're all still here, you're all still interested and you all still want to work. And hold on one second, Abraham. I'll get right back to you. Thank you so much. Let me finish my thought here. So I want to get this form to you guys. I'm going to pop it in the chat here. We'll also send it out by email. This is a sort of all-encompassing Preserve Altadena form here. It gives you a chance. It gives you a chance to give us your contact info. It gives you a chance to say what your skills are. It gives you a chance to volunteer for specific roles. It gives you a chance to leave edits and comment on what you want to see in these shared values, what you don't like, what you do like, anything like that. You can put it in there. So, you know, please fill it out, get it back to us. We'll spend the next day or so going over it and getting everybody's thoughts and concerns kind of sorted out. And then we'll be back in touch with you after that. That kind of wraps up our portion of this. Okay, actually, sorry, one last thing in there, and then I'll hand it over to you, Abraham, for a minute. In the Google form, it gives you a spot to reach out to local leaders. In that spot, there's a template that you can use. You just copy and paste it into an email, copy and paste it into a letter that you're going to print out. Use it as a script for a phone call, whatever you want to do with it. And it has our five values there that I kind of went over before. You know, as we edit those will change slightly. Those will kind of become a little bit more refined. So you don't have to stick exactly to that script, but if you want to, it's there for you. I do highly recommend that everybody start now by making your voices heard. Don't wait till after the Thursday meeting. Don't wait till, it becomes, you hear something on the news. Reach out to a town council member now if you know them. Reach out to the county supervisor now. Reach out to the state senators now. We can't wait. There's no waiting. You're going to hear a lot of people say, oh, we need to focus on rebuild, or, oh, we need to focus on this, that, and the other. And they're not wrong. But at the same time, we know that they're not going to wait for us. They're not going to wait for us before they start organizing and they start making deals about who gets to cut up Altadena into their own plans. So if we don't do it now, it'll be too late. Okay, that's it for us. Thank you, everyone. Abraham has something to say. He's I believe, with the Altadena Strong group. I could be wrong about that. Okay.
Yep, I'm with him now. And first, nice to Brooke and Michael both. Thank you both for leading this and spearheading it and getting us to where we're at. And also even that document, the petition, very, very well thought written. I appreciate that. I just want to say for myself, again, we lost multiple homes in this community. But there are short-term needs, immediate needs, short-term, mid-term, and long-term needs. And we need to know what those are. So please put those, if it's family, friend, put those into this form that they're creating now. And one important thing, if you are a homeowner, I just did a full interview with New York Times recently regarding this. I'm a real estate broker, developer as well. And I'm putting the word out to all of the government officials within the real estate. I'm a former state director for the Department of Real Estate. And one of the things I'm saying is that we need to put a moratorium as far as corporations coming in right away, buying, just temporarily put a halt. But if you are a homeowner, right now, you need to call your assessor's office and have your taxes reassessed down just for the land value right away. So you don't keep on paying the high tax. It's based on when you file it. They don't backdate. So call them if you're a homeowner. If you have questions, we'll be available. And then hopefully we'll see you Thursday and you'll have real strong vigilant details. That's pretty much it. Thank you very much.
Thanks again. And I mean, just to echo what Abraham was saying, there are immediate needs and we recognize that. We want to connect everybody to those, to resources to address those needs, whether you are a homeowner who's lost their home, whether you're a renter who has no place to stay, whether, you just are concerned. We know this is all there. And we're not trying to divert attention from any of those things. What we are trying to do is organize as a community so that when we get to the point where we're rebuilding, it's how we want it. And it's up to us how that happens. That's really what we're thinking of. So I do want to just make sure that we're not putting anybody's needs off and saying that we don't care, but we are staying focused on this goal. At least that's what me and Brooke are mostly thinking about. So please, in that form, share the needs. and we will do our best to connect you to the people who know how to address those needs. I think that's just about it.
I just have a little, I shared it in the community Facebook group, but I don't think it got pushed to the top very much. I had very few people. So one of the things that I randomly took as we were leaving Tuesday night, we took nothing but the cats. But my vocal coach had recently given me an antique brochure about Mount Low. And I scanned it just the other day, and I just kind of wanted to share that with all of you, just to have a tiny slice of just a tiny portion of our history. I'm putting that in the chat. If you miss it, it's also going to still be in that Google form in case you need to download it there. But it's just it's got some old photos in it. I just found it really cool. So if you like history, and I just wanted to say thank you to everyone and share that with you all, just as a little reminder of what our land is of. And it's really been wonderful having all of you here. I have personally found a lot of strength in organizing this and purpose, I know all of us have felt probably the worst we've ever felt. And you guys have been giving me strength, and I have felt most like myself when talking with all of you and working towards this. So thank you all. And we have a hand raised.
So we do have a couple minutes left. We don't want to respect everybody's time. I really do want to encourage everybody to go to the protest. If you're in the San Gabriel Valley, please make it out there. That being said, we can now open the floor to some questions. Please raise your hand. There should be a hand raising tool in Zoom that'll help us keep track of who's raised their hands first. So if you could,
I don't know how to use that.
Click on that. That'll be easier. It's not really possible for us to see every person, but where is the hand raising?
First one I saw is Sasha Darling.
Sasha.
Hi, everyone. So just quickly, I live in Altadena on Glen Rose and Loma Alta. I lost my home, but I'm also a real estate agent. And I wanted to let you guys know that me and a bunch of real estate agents that really respect historical houses and historical neighborhoods have been talking offline about possibly hiring an architect to do like 10 or 15 different plans, a storybook, a post and beam, a ranch style, a Spanish, and getting them pushed through the city to save money and time for residents of Altadena, so that it wouldn't be all unique homes, but at least it would be faster and quicker and less expensive for people. Unfortunately, the other people that I'm speaking with had open houses today, so they couldn't be here, but I'm going to update them. But I'll probably pass them over to the Altadena Strong people as well as you guys, because I think it could be a really good way to save money for residents to be able to build back in a more thoughtful way.
Thank you for that. That's absolutely in line with our values and making it easier for people to rebuild, but also keeping the character of the town. So thank you for sharing, Sasha.
Mm-hmm. We also have Lizzie Calvert.
Okay, this is Lizzie's mom, Melanie.
Okay.
I'm a retired attorney, and I did speak with a bad faith insurance attorney, and he said, be sure, absolutely sure, that you pay your mortgages on time so no one can foreclose on your property. And there are also forms available with the banks that are repair affidavits that they need to have filled out before they can release funding for rebuilds. So I hope that helps you a little bit. Thank you.
I don't want to jump in, but I have information that there's going to be a bill passed that you'll be able to pause your mortgage soon. It's going to come out. I just talked to the governor's office. You'll be able to pause your mortgage. I did already through my bank. You pause it, no interest, no additional equity. So I recommend if anyone has a mortgage, pause it, and they cannot ding you nothing. So just to chime in, sorry.
Executive order today.
Thank you so much for that, because I was going to say the same thing. I was going to echo that. If you are a homeowner, I do this. I'm not a professional. So thank you, Freddie, because you are a professional for jumping in on this. But yeah, please call your mortgage lender and put a pause on your mortgage ASAP, because that is definitely going to be the biggest stressor, trying to handle that and rent is going to be insane once it comes around to February and March. Anyways, we're gonna move on.
We got a couple more hand raisers here. Jeffrey Lopez.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just want to send my condolences to everyone that has been affected. Our family's in the Meadows, so we haven't been as affected as some of you have. And I just wanted to jump in and say that I really appreciate, first of all, Michael and Brooke, I believe, who set this up. I really appreciate you putting this together. And I am excited to see how many people that we have as resources already on this, because I've been working in business development and helping entrepreneurs through training basically for the last 12 years. And I see this as a huge opportunity for me to help the whole community by teaching some very basic business things, because ultimately, and I don't want to sound too capitalistic about this, but ultimately what talks is money. And the faster we get money moving in our community and generated, the more they're going to listen to us. And I've already got a bunch of different ideas on how we can generate money. I'm putting up forms and getting workshops ready. So I just wanted to add that in there because I'm here 100% to help the local businesses and all, entrepreneurs that want to start a business start making the moves, because what Altadena will ultimately want is the money to rebuild. And if we can provide it, I'm here to help people do that. So I'll stop there because I can go on forever. But yeah, I got things in the works and I will be sharing with anyone who's interested, and all of my services will be free to the community.
Excellent.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey. And to sort of build on that, to stay in touch and to sort of connect together. If you guys fill out that form, we can start to build a contact list. We can start to build out more ways to connect with each other. And we'll be working on that in the coming days. Whether that looks like a Discord server or a WhatsApp chat, we don't really know, or just using the Facebook group, we don't know, but we're going to do our best to share every resource that comes to us, whether it be from Jeffrey or whether it be from the Fox Law Group or et cetera. So thank you so much for that, Jeffrey.
Okay, we have Laura.
Hi, guys. It's Lisa Granrus, Granrus family. We are on Mendocino, and my mother-in-law is on Midlothian. Our house is standing, both homes. My mother-in-law, I think that side of Midlothian below Mendocino also is kind of like the Meadows. We were able to get in today. I'm a little late on the meeting because I couldn't find my laptop, you can imagine. But I wanted to provide a couple of things, information I will fill out. I was late, so will you guys email all that to us, like where we're going to?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we will email everybody in this group the form and a PDF of those 5 values, or the draft petition, really, to everybody, so that you can all have that and the meeting notes, as well as the recording of the meeting in the chat.
And so real quick, and I don't know if I'm repeating, I'm sorry, like I said, I got on at the last 15 minutes. I'm a certified child life specialist, retired from UCLA. So we are starting something to help the children in the community. We have, so I'll fill all that out for you guys in that, so we can have that. I also got provided, when we are allowed to certain sections of our neighborhoods that have been affected greatly, like Mendocino and certain Brayburn and those areas. I've got actual N95 masks from the hospital that they donated to us. I've got hundreds of booties. I've got goggles. I've got hair. I've got covers. So where should I take those to?
We'll have to think about that.
Okay.
There's a lot of wonderful ideas, and we want to follow up with all of them.
Okay.
So this is something we need to think about. Yes, supplies, and as we clean up, if there's a centralized station where we can stop by there first, and as we get to our homes,
right?
And, that's definitely something that we need to consider as we get into our places and where we can donate and share those supplies.
And real quick, guys, will someone send me information about something's going on Thursday or something like that?
Yes, okay. That will be in the email. Again, everybody here, we'll go through the chat. We'll put the form up. We're still putting the form up. We're still linking it. That's the way we're going to have your email. So please put it into that form. We'll email everybody in this meeting who signed up. If the link was shared to you by a friend, we don't have your email address, so we can't send it to you. But that form, you can give us your email address that way.
Yeah, I got all the emails now. And did you guys know that there's a candlelight vigil at one of the churches tonight?
We had heard that, but we did not know the details.
Sorry, dogs and everything in the apartment. Sorry. Okay.
I'm also putting in the email that I've made for this. So if anyone got this invite from someone else and I don't have your email, please email me, and then I can make sure to get this, this meeting recording to you, and the Google form, and I'll put you on my centralized list that I'm hoping that I've not lost anyone yet. So I've got that. So email me if you're sure that I don't currently have your contact information, and I will make sure that. Okay, yes. So we got a few more questions with our remaining time. So this is Elliot. No, that was her. Elliot, did you have a question? Or no? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I do. Sorry, okay. I just was on mute.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you guys so much. It's incredible what you're doing. I have a hard time doing anything these days, and that you've been able to so activated and so strong is incredible. Thank you so much. I'm a little bit concerned and maybe just need more clarity about the preservation prioritization. I'm just thinking about, preserving the character and the history is so important to me, but more than anything, it's building resilience in the future and building a new, that's going to be my particular focus in general, is trying to educate myself and my neighbors and the community, hopefully, on resilient materials and designs, and trying to bring together architects and try to see some really radical visions for things. But in the particular statement that we're putting together, there's a lot about, or there's a bit about preservation that, while I love historical homes and I love the historical character, I don't think it's wise to rebuild places historically with materials that are still not resilient. And I have a real concern about that. And I don't know how, if you can speak on that, I would really appreciate it.
Just real quick. Yeah, no. So we have thought about that a lot, and thank you for bringing that up, because when we talk about preserving the character and the history of Altadena, we're doing this all in the context of what I said at the very beginning, that we are not trying to make this more difficult for homeowners to rebuild. And we know that a lot of those old homes that were lost, it's impossible to rebuild back that way. Like, however much I love those old windows that you have to crank open, or how much I love counterweighted windows in craftsman houses, those are pretty much impossible to do nowadays up to standard build, up to building code. And some of the wood floors or some of the beams, those are old wood growth forests that were cut down to make those. Those aren't available anymore. And even if they were, we wouldn't want to cut those down.
Also, code or not code, whether the code or not is going to protect us in another firestorm,
Yeah. So this is where
I'm not certain about the code. I don't know about anything, but we need to be involved in all those conversations, to me.
That is exactly what we want to be, is where we're trying to say that we want to have this community council, this community committee of long-standing Altadena residents who have oversight over every aspect of the rebuild process. And this includes how the rebuild's done. And if we're able to get people together, like, those plans for the cute Spanish style, the James cottages, but done in a way that's modern, and done with modern materials, and done in a way that is resilient. And then we're finding a way to have, resources given to the homeowner so they can build in that way. What we don't want to see happen is a bunch of lifeless suburban sprawl, cookie cutter McMansions we put up all up and down Lake. What we don't want to see happen is, where Freddie's Pets was, where Steve's Pets was, where the bike shop was, where the Altadena Hardware was. What we don't want to see is a Walmart go up there. What we don't want to see is a Costco get put up here. What we don't want to see is a bunch of luxury apartments that none of us can afford You know, we can't afford $5,000 a month. We can't afford $6,000 a month for a 2 bedroom. We don't want to see those type of apartments being put up in place of what were cute mid-century modern condos, what were Jane's cottages on a secluded street. So we do have to navigate this, and that becomes logistics after the fact. And we can get caught up talking about that, and we can get caught up arguing about that. What we need to do is stay focused now and preserve less so, I think, and this is a little bit different from maybe some of you all, less so about the architecture and more so about the people.
I agree.
I don't
I
want to
guess I
see
think
I
as
don't want to
we're
see the black families not able to have their homes anymore, because now what they bought 40 years ago is going to cost $1.5 million. And it's,
I
they're not
agree,
going
and
to
I
get that.
think
But that's what we're focused on right now, and that's what we got to stay.
Please jump in here. I raised my hand and I can help Elliot and I can also help you, Michael. My name is Lisa Henderson. I used to live up in Altadena and I have my business down here in South Pass. Our office manager lost her home on the corner of just near Palm and Fair Oaks. I'm an architect. I specialize in historic restoration and preservation. And I've been doing this for almost a quarter of a century, specifically up in your area and my old neighborhood. We do constantly work where we're preserving obsessively, yes, but 90% of our work is actually building new and merging the old and the new. So I am here to support you guys. We're giving consultations free of charge. We're going to do a whole kind of town hall meeting to help you understand what those rebuilding and what the designs mean in terms of the requirements for the county for their like for like program, and then having to do things with, like you had said earlier about the savings comes in numbers in terms of resurveying your entire street and all the things that need to happen the minute that your stuff and your debris is cleared. But to Elliot's point, yeah, it's never going to be exactly the same. And to Michael's point, we're not going to want to take and get the spaghetti thin, 3/4 material that's long 20 foot. We don't have that in the forests anymore, and we won't want to deplete that. But there's a lot of ways with current technology, current materials, that it doesn't take the soul out, and it really continues to have that there. And so for anyone who wants any meetings, I'll be Mijanu and her spouse that live up in the area still and lost their home are on this meeting as well. And we're here to help. We're here to give you no cost advice in terms of how to move forward so that you feel like you're informed. As far as the kit homes and the Jane's Cottage, again, there's a like for like program in terms of the submittals that's going to be happening with the city, and we're working closely with the city. I think I forgot to even mention at the beginning, I'm actually the one that made Historic Highlands about 20 years ago. So I'm really familiar with it. I started off as a grad student making on the team to make Bungalow Heaven a landmark district. So there's a lot of knowledge in our office, and we're really committed to making sure that the soul that you're talking about is what I see and I feel when I go into these buildings and these homes, that I'm helping and advising you in any way I can so that you're feeling informed and that you feel like you know where you're going. And that's also to say, Elliot, if you want to have something that's super tricked out technology, or you want to have like a modern version of a mid-century modern that's 2025, you're able and allowed to do that. But I think what Michael's talking about is not having the soul gone, not having it look like an Orange County that's just slapped up and everything has an orange peel on the inside of the walls, and it's done
yeah,
with
I agree
materials,
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, it's no one wants, but I think I'm just concerned about like even with the like for like program. Does that mean building the home the same way it was built before is
No,
the
it doesn't.
prioritized, or it's about square footage?
No,
Yeah, it's about your footprint.
Yeah.
And we can do a town hall meeting that's not this one. I know, Michael, you want to get people up to be there in an hour now, so I can definitely make myself available and be part of your group in any way you would be willing to accept me in terms of my advisorship, and we can thing on all the ins and outs of what does the design, what do you physically see, in terms of what you're allowed to have and how you can either replicate or do it with materials, you know, and like the gentleman who's the attorney said, with numbers comes the strength and the lower pricing. So yes, having a contractor do 5 houses in that particular neighborhood and buying all the materials at the same time and having a lower price point for whatever the windows and doors are and the paint, that's going to help. And we've already been talking with our civil engineer to make sure that if they're surveying an entire block, there's going to be, they dealt with the Wolseley fire. There's going to be 20 civil engineers out there. It's not one person or one group trying to monopolize anything. They work together as teams, but them doing an entire block, you're going to have all that work done faster because it's all adjacent to you, and your price points for your own resurveying are going to be lower. So having that knowledge and having that is power, you know, it's going to help everybody.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Super duper helpful. Please fill out the form, and please like put those skills and experiences in there so we know who we're talking to when we go through. So we're already over time. I really want to get to everybody, so we got to make this super duper quick. Excuse me for cutting people off, trying to push the conversation forward, but I want to hear from everybody who's had their hand raised
and get people to the protest.
And people to the protest. Yeah, so I don't want to take too much more of your time. So Courage, you're up.
Hey everyone, I'll make this super brief so we can get to the protest. My name is Courage. I'm an Indigenous resident of Altadena. I've been here for almost 4 years. I'm by Concha and Lake, and miraculously my home did survive. So first, thank you for Altadena Not for Sale, Dina Strong, and Build Back Vintage for all the work you're doing. You might have seen me a few times here and there. I'm in a position, thankfully, through the support of a lot of people around me, where I can devote 90% of my life to this cause. And so I'm here. I'm going to have a place to go back to. I have a lot of friends that are supporting me. I have a motorcycle. I can get anywhere. Any one of you that's hearing me right now, if you need me, if you want to use me, if you want to contact me for anything, 90% of my life is devoted to this. And so I want to see everything we discussed happened. Thank you so much for the work you're doing, Brooke, and your husband. So my heart goes out to all of you. You're the most kindest community I've ever been a part of in my life. And it pains me to see this happen to you. I love all of you. I am at your disposal. So I've been doing a lot of community organizing and activism my whole life. I was a huge part of the Standing Rock movement, organizing in a dangerous area, facing off against police and military every day. And then after I came back, I founded the Divest LA movement with friends, where we got $8 billion divested from the bank, funding the Dakota Access Pipeline. This was back in like 2017. So, you know, I have some background with some big things. But again, we can only do this together. And I'm hoping that all of us will respect the fact that we're all going to be going in this with our own skill set and our own vision of what we feel we want to see happen to make this collective goal happen. So we're all in this together. And that's what makes Altadena strong. And that's what makes us unique. Thank you.
Guys, where's protest? So I can go. Where's the protest?
It is going to be, actually, Melissa.
Is Melissa still here?
Melissa, are you still here? She might have left. Lakin, I think Lakin, almost up to Lakin.
She said Lakin Woodbury.
Thank you. By the church.
They said they were actually meeting on Lake and Catalina before.
They
had out the signs.
Perfect. What time?
2.
All right.
In an hour.
Are we good?
Yeah, no, we got 2 more people I'd like to get to really quickly. Scout. Okay, actually, just one more. Jacques.
Hi, I'm Gwen, and this is Jacques. We lost our home on Poppy Fields. We were down the other day at the resource center where FEMA and everybody is kind of set up. And the thing that we kind of ran into most, the elderly that lost their home and had no money at all to rebuild. And I just hope there's a way that we can either go down to those resource centers and start compiling a list of people that truly don't have the money, and that we can try and connect with them somehow. I don't know how to do that, but that just seemed, I mean, you know, we're fortunate enough, we have insurance. We only owned our house 69 days, but yeah. So we just, you know, there's a lot of stories out there, and I just hope we can connect with those people and try and help them the best that we can, any way we can.
Thank you. I mean, that's wow. I was thinking very much along the same lines when we put in, we want to make sure that there's special consideration and resources available to senior citizens, to the individuals who live in the halfway home that was right across the street from us. I know there was a permanent supportive housing development or two in Altadena as well. And we want to make sure that those individuals that are literally the most vulnerable have the resources they need and aren't just forgotten about. So thank you so much for bringing that to the forefront. Please fill out the form, put your name, put your email so we know who we're talking to. Finally, lastly, we're going to hear from Scout. Scout's been great. He's helped moderate. He's helped keep tabs on the questions there, and he's going to help us sift through a lot of your guys' comments. So I just want to give him the floor real quick.
Yeah, I'm just helping out in the chat. But if you Michael or Brooke, if you just scroll up, I don't know if you saw my summary thing.
Yes, I see it.
Okay, great. So I think in most cases, like if there's an opinion in the question, like I'm assuming you all will take that into account as you edit and stuff, and just to glance at that and make sure there's nothing that we need to talk about here on there.
Absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
Thanks
okay.
all.
I think there's some really great stuff in here.
Yeah, honestly, we'll get back to you. We'll get back to you. Last minute hand raise again. Don't want to keep everybody too long. Jessica, can we make it super duper short?
Oh, Jessica.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been running around a bit, but one thing I wanted to mention with, I don't remember her name, the person who just spoke about the unhoused folks, especially our elders. There's a group, and I'll put it in the chat. I'm trying to pull it up while I'm on my phone, but there's a group called My Tribe Rise. I just met with them yesterday, and they are actively on the ground putting together a database of folks who are homeowners, maybe not homeowners, but who need what support is needed for those folks who some are sleeping in their cars, and what resources they need in order to get the education on, I know there was a gentleman mentioned earlier about how you can put a pause on your mortgage. I think there's a big need for education for folks. I mean, as we're going through this, one of the hardest times of our lives, like the stress, the grief, and then also having to handle business at the same time that many of, our community members are dealing with, and how we can tap into our gifts and talents individually and be able to support and create a digestible, easy to understand, like checklist for individuals who, again, maybe have stress about paying their mortgage next month, like what resources are available for them. Connecting with churches also, as I know, has been part of a strategy as well, because there's a whole congregation of local residents that we can tap into, and have their database of community members as well. And so just wanting to mention that, I'm happy to share. I will share My Tribe Rising information so you guys can reach out to the organizer there. Last thing I want to mention, there's so many incredible groups that are forming as we speak. I've been on 4 meetings in the last 4 days with individuals who are as passionate as you all here. And I just want to say Altadena is incredibly special. And I really want to emphasize us trying to work together as much as possible instead of in silos, because we're going to be more powerful. I think really we got to figure out how we can work together. And so I know it's, we're very early days of what has happened, but figuring out how we can work together so that we can get all on the same accord. And then lastly, Elliot, hi, Elliot. I wanted to share, I'm in alignment with you on building, more resilient structures that are aesthetically beautiful. And I shared in the chat a group that is actively forming. They're actually meeting as we speak in Diamond Bar, talking about earth domes. And so if you look at the link I put in the chat, you can connect with them. They're in the early stage of discussion. I know there's some challenges and red tape around being able to build some of those structures, but I think Altadena is strong. I think we can change the game. So just want to say that, and appreciate you all for coming together in this way.
Okay, thank you so much, Jessica. And I'm going to echo everything Jessica just said about working together. Guys, if you're in the San Gabriel Valley, go to the protest. If you're in the area, go to the town hall on Thursday, so we can talk about a more aggressive legal way of doing this. Work with local community organizers who are not us, who are helping to do things like build databases for people who need direct support now, with the churches who are providing a lot of direct support and donation. There's a lot of great work happening, and we're not trying to replace or push out or work separate from any of these movements, but we're trying to work with, and we're trying to combine with, we're trying to, as Freddie said, we're trying to unionize more or less and get everybody together and know that this community is still this community. And we're going to come back to this community and make it better than it was, but not how somebody up in Sacramento might imagine that, but how Altadena imagines that. So with that, we're gonna close it off with just one last appeal. Please fill out that form. I'll drop the link one more time here in the group chat. So please fill out that form. We'll email everybody with this meeting, with those, with the draft petition, with all the different resources that we have with the chat. Share that draft petition with anybody far and wide. Get it out there. We have not officialized it yet. We'll send a link if it ends up being a link. We're hoping to get probably more signatures on paper, but we don't know. But just share it out. Tell everybody this is what we're thinking and this is what we want to have happen. Thank you all so much for showing up. Thank you all for all your comments and questions. Thank you for being here. Yes, there will be a follow-up meeting. We're hoping to have the follow-up meeting be in person or person and virtual. We don't want to be excluding anybody. We will make that happen. We'll be in touch in the coming days about that and checking on schedules and things. But the first step is that form. The second step is contacting local leadership and being loud. So go to that protest, make a noise at that protest, and let everybody know that Altadena is not for sale. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.